My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And it's that time again. It's what we're watching time, where we tell you what we've been watching this month. But I've got some, a little bit of, it's probably not going to be as involved as other months. We've all had a very busy month this month. And it was a 5-week month, so we had a lot going on podcast-wise, too. So it's, listen, this may be one of our more toned down what we're watching, but we still...
Sometimes we just don't make it.
Also,
we did watch stuff.
For the record, when we do deep dive podcast episodes, we spend time doing those things, to prepare. So, that's a thing.
Maybe all of our stuff is Dean stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right.
Which if you were listening, you'll be like,
yeah,
we already heard that.
Yeah, we don't want to reiterate, so we got to bring in new stuff for y'all. So this is, if you're new here, welcome. We're glad to have you. This is the episode where we just tell you what we've been watching this month and what we liked, and maybe you should go watch it. Maybe
it often is very long.
Yes,
often.
Generally we don't talk about the stuff we don't like, so we keep it to the stuff we think you as a viewer might enjoy.
Unless it's something that we don't like for a solid reason,
specific reason,
you
like
need
a
warning about.
Or soapbox,
so that occasionally comes up, but I think I shall start us off today.
Okay.
Because we also randomly choose the order every week, and I am first this week, so it's not. That's how.
I mean, Natalia was the one to actually
That's true.
Yeah,
I do also run the Google random number generator, so I could be sneaking, but I'm not. Anyway, so I have started watching. I am on episode 34, I think, of a 37 episode C drama. I'm watching it on iQIYI, but I think it's also on Netflix. And it is called Best Choice Ever. So basically it follows this girl who works in a hotel, and she's dating this guy who's a bit of a loser. He just stays home and plays video games all day. But she also has the most overbearing mother that you've ever seen in a show. This mom is up in her business at all times. And, this is not great for this girl. This has basically ruined this girl's life. But then she finds out that her boyfriend is actually, from a super, super rich family, and even though they've been dating for, 3 to 4 years, he never, told her. So she thought he was just some, middle-class family poor dude.
A poor loser and not a rich loser?
Not a rich loser. So anyway...
there is a difference.
So then her mom, who's initially been you should break up with him, he's a loser, finds out he's rich and suddenly is you should marry him.
Of course.
Of course.
Now he's so great and charming.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's hot because he's rich, right? And she's like, I didn't care that he was rich. I thought we were on the same page, and I just discovered that my boyfriend of 3 years has been lying to me for 3 years, Mom. This is not
great.
Meanwhile, at her hotel job, a new head of the hotel comes to town. And he's looking to expand and make the hotel, do business stuff at the hotel. And so her boyfriend's dad's company is a furniture, some sort of listen, I didn't really care about what the corporate shenanigans were. I'm gonna be real. It's but they're bidding for some sort of
all the furniture
thing. And so her boyfriend's dad is you need to get in with this girl because she's works at this hotel and she's our in, right? Meanwhile, the mom and the guy's pregnant sister, the biggest bitch I've ever seen in a C drama, which is saying something, are she's poor trash, we gotta end this marriage, blah blah blah. Anyway, that's only the first quarter of the show. There's a whole I'm in the last bit things have changed for all of these characters, okay? That's just what you're going in for. Will she stay with the scrub? Or will this hot new hotelier come in somehow?
I love how she has to pick between two rich dudes.
Yeah, well, he's like the hot new hotelier, and also the hot new hotelier.
Self-made man.
No. His grandma owns a little hotel that the big conglomerate that he works for wants to buy, and the grandma ain't selling. But the grandma is also like best friends with the main girl's mom.
Oh.
So the main girl is like really close with the grandma and did not know she had this grandson who lived overseas.
Oh.
Anyway, the grandson's played by Zukai.
Which the thing is, when you see him show up, does his face really read as second?
Yeah, you know, like, listen, I'm not gonna say yes or no, but like when you look at the guy who plays her boyfriend going into the show, and then you look at Zukai, you're like, okay, I can see where the winds of change are blowing, you know.
So those who have watched Arsenal Military Academy know what I'm talking about. If you're wondering,
those who have watched anything with Zukai, are just like, oh, she's the guy from, if you're not familiar, from She and Her Perfect Husband. He was the perfect husband, if you're wondering. He has a very they let him get expressive in this and be kind of like a sarcastic little shit, which is fun.
I do prefer when he has when his roles are mischievous. Like, I think it's fun.
There's also a subplot involving the main girl's little brother, who is a lawyer. Like, he just graduated, so he just passed the bar. And then her best friend, who's a recent divorcee with like a 4-year-old. That, listen, do what you will with that. I'm not going to say where that goes, but I think we can all figure it out.
I think it goes to showing that there's a cute kid in some scenes.
There is, but he sounds like in some scenes. There's a whole custody battle situation. Anyway.
Oh.
But when I tell you, you gotta really have a backbone of steel for this one, because the main girl's mother she gets forgiven way too easily for the shit she gets up to, okay? Like, and it's not like she's doing anything, it's not like she's doing anything, like, evil or anything. She's just a very overbearing, I know what's best, I need to meddle in my daughter's life type of mother, and you're just like, oh.
Suffocated.
Like, I think I was, like, joking with someone, I was like, if she was my mother, I would have left home, changed my name, and never came back. Like, because I would have gone insane living with someone like this. But, anyway, the show is very fun. I am enjoying it. I'm probably going to be finishing it this week when the episodes post, because I can't go into the future and finish it. But, yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I've been watching on IG, and I've been genuinely enjoying this show. And I think it's fun. It's a classic C-drama caper for, you know, those of y'all looking for one. So,
how about you, Amanda?
Well, as we were sort of discussing before we got started, because Sky and I have both not been watching a lot, and one of the things we've not been watching has been the same thing. So, it's a weekender. It's called Beauty and Mr. Romantic, and it is as advertised. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's a weekender. It's a family weekender, so it's a little less on the MacJang, like, crazy, although there's a lot of that in there, but sort of more from it's got a little more of a rom-com vibe to it than the, like, hardcore. You don't really think anybody's gonna, not yet anyway, it doesn't seem like anyone's gonna try and murder anybody else. Like, it you know.
Listen, the night is young, okay? The night is young.
I could probably list off which characters, if it happens, or it would originate from.
Who's the sus murderer?
But we have things like the aunt come in and go, okay, so because, you know, I need you to get pregnant now, and the 60-year-old woman looking at her and going, ma'am, no,
factory is closed.
Like,
factory.
cannot. And she's like, I will pay for the, like, and she's like, no. And she goes, okay, well, if you are refusing, and she's like, it's not refusing, it's menopause. Like, what do you want from me? And she's like, well, then you should do the right thing for the family and step aside and let your husband take a lover so he can have a son. What? So we're dealing with that nonsense.
All right,
you know?
all right, 1700s, like,
okay,
chill
you know
out.
To say,
like,
when she said
women are allowed to inherit property now. Don't worry about it.
And
like, what are you talking about?
Apparently, single aunt who never did her job for the company and the family. So I don't know what she's talking about. But whatever. I'm like, okay, how about you, lady? Like, why don't you get out there and surrogate yourself a baby? Like, come on now.
That ain't how they do it. Okay, that
right.
ain't how they do it.
The main premise of the show is this couple who met as kids. Their families became intertwined through.
And yet you have, for the record, you have about like 3-ish episodes of the kid, like.
Yeah.
Kid era.
Which is
so you get
pretty,
really good child actors.
Yeah, very good. And you know, you sort of meet all the main players really, and see how they all connect to each other. And then you fast forward 15 years, and she's a famous actress, and he is working as an assistant director on K-dramas, and they wind up working on the same drama together. And she keeps looking at him and thinking, like, in this light, he looks so much like that guy that I was friends with 15 years ago. And he knows who she is, but he has changed his name. So she doesn't know. And at one point she's like, he has the same last name. Maybe they're cousins. Maybe that's why he reminds me of this guy. Do you have a cousin named this? He's like, nope, don't know what you're talking about. Because it turns out she doesn't know any of this, but big stuff happened between her mom and his family that has left very bad blood. So he doesn't really want his family to know he's working with her. His family hates her family. She has no knowledge of this because she was like 12 or 13 or something, and like, whatever, just no idea. But there's bad blood. Not murder, but somebody did die. So, you know. And then, of course, there's a third family, which initially you're like, why are we getting this third family? Other than the fact that there always has to be a rich Chaebol family.
Oh, yeah.
But you're like,
duh.
You know.
Duh.
And
it's a weekender.
You know. And then, so, like, first or second weekend, it's like, the mom is like really fixated on the son from this other family, from her best friend's family, and you're like, yeah.
I want to say something about that for a second, though.
Yeah.
So there's a moment where, so the character's name is Go Sung, like, but it was Godae. Let me go see.
Dae Chung or
Godae Chung.
Yeah.
Because he changed his name. Anyway, when he was younger, I think it was Godae Chung. So how old was his character? What, 14, 15?
Something like that, yeah. Like, he was a couple years older than her, but not
it became a little plot point that he was secretly dating, like, a gal who was, what, 19, 20, 21 over like, at the hair salon?
Out of high school. She was grown.
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah. No,
so the reason I'm even bringing that up, which that's like, luckily it didn't get like super skeevy, and of course our little lead gal had a crush on him and figured this out and totally tattled because there's no way in hell that she was gonna let a high schooler continue to date like an adult. That's nasty.
Yeah, no, like listen.
Yeah.
Good for her.
That is nasty.
Good for you. Girl.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Right?
And of course he was all butthurt about it. It's like, go grow up. Like, gross.
Well, yeah, because he's 15 and stupid. Okay. Like,
right. So it was a whole, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. The reason I'm bringing that up is, so you have this little backdrop of things that are occurring, and then you also have this wealthy best friend of this kid, when I say kid, so Go Pil Sung, so this kid that was just dating this older gal, his mom is best friends with this richer lady from, like, high school, and they hang out all the time, and this rich lady likes giving him these gifts, like a fancy jacket, and looks longingly at him a lot from Cars.
Classic.
And I'm like, we had a weird high schooler adult moment already. I don't really wish to continue the high schooler adult moments of this show.
Can we just
not do this?
Can we just be normal about things?
I did assume. I assumed it was going where it ended up, but like because of this backdrop, they really didn't make a. They didn't make a big difference between. She just really kept staring longingly at this kid, and I'm like, this kid was just dating like a 22-year-old. Like I don't.
Yeah.
What is going on in this at the moment? So like, they eventually make it. It takes a while for them to clarify what's going on there. Anyway, it was funny. So like I was concerned. I was like even more concerned. I was like, what is going on? This is supposed to be my cute show to watch. What is going on right now?
Why are you doing this?
Why am I icked out like episode 1? Like I don't want to be doing this right now.
Oh, why are we doing this?
Mom, can you come pick me up? I'm scared.
That was very much. Also, I want to highlight something about the young kids too. So then you have the young lead girl who both of these child actors, again, brilliant, like really, really good. Mm-hmm. But the young, or little, she's a child actress. She doesn't want to be. Her mom is running from like loan sharks and not a great mom. And makes her daughter be a child actress singing in nightclubs from a very young age. And her daughter is obviously not really great with, doesn't like that, feels uncomfortable. But her mom keeps forcing her to do these acting jobs. And so to me, that informs a lot about, so later on when you see this character who is a successful actress and her mom is her manager still.
Oh, no.
There's a lot, and her mom still has debt and gambling issues to that day. Like, to where they had to be on assistance to have food, and the mom often was on the run, not even taking care of the other 2 younger kids. Like, it was a whole thing. So, going in, there's a lot of heaviness with, like, the kids. Like, you are worried about these children's well-being. So, it is not a light thing, like, pretty quick. Mm-hmm. So, but then, like, to me, when we hop to current, yay adults, and I don't have to worry about high schoolers dating people anymore,
it's easier.
It becomes rom-com-y, at least for their plot line.
Yeah.
They're bringing it around. They're circling back.
Like, there's a Noonas romance thing going on with her younger brother and his young aunt. They keep getting drunk and winding up in the same place and then having sex with each other.
Oh no, there was only one bed. What will they do?
So she thinks that, well, once is, maybe an accident, but twice, like, come on.
Twice is a choice. Okay, twice is a choice. Yeah.
Listen, Ajima, and she's like, excuse you? And he's like, listen, I am young and you are old and that's not gonna happen. And she's like, okay, well, you suck. And then he realizes that maybe
he realizes
wait. Surprise pregnancy thing there.
Oh, geez. Well, it is a weekender. That is
there's
a lot of time to
pop up eventually. So, and then one of the things that I am really enjoying about it so far, the rich secret birth mother of our male lead, she has another daughter who, when she was 12, was in an accident, had to have a series of surgeries, and these have left her with a brain trauma of a sort. She's in her 20s and she still behaves and thinks like a 12-year-old. So they have dealt really well with that, and I feel like the actress is doing a really good job with it. Like, she is not overplaying it or making it foolish. She is just a 20-year-old who is playing a 12-year-old, and she's not doing it weirdly, right? And they're addressing some of the things that come with that. Like, her best friends are all a bunch of like middle schoolers, and the concerns that some people who see that are like, they're taking advantage of you. And she's like, no, they're my friends. And they seem to be, so far anyway. All the 12-year-olds she hangs out with really do just like her. Like, they all pay their own way. They aren't taking advantage of her money or her, disabilities, but it's seen as being weird. And she's very frank, the way that kids are frank, and she's very honest, and people don't like that. And it's a little iffy that, like, the dad's really great. He's like, you know what, our daughter is the happiest person that I know, and she is happy. Like, she's happy. What else do we want for our children other than them to be healthy and happy? And she is those things. So, like, there's nothing to be sad about, right? But on the flip side, he wants an heir to take over, and his daughter can't be that heir. So he's got this plan to find a nice man who can marry her and take over the business. And I'm like, dude,
ma'am,
doesn't want to marry a 12-year-old. Like,
sir, she thinks she's a child, sir.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask you to stop.
It's a little weird. It's like, there's a great conversation at one point where he's like, hey, your friend, he says to his wife, your friend's son is a really nice guy. Do you think he would marry the daughter? And she's thinking, oh, my illegitimate son that I left for my best friend to raise? No, I don't. He would be a good husband for my daughter.
He is a nice man, but
no, how we don't go there.
So I want to highlight the rom-com thing just this for a second. Like, so it's enemies to lovers too. Nice. So like, essentially what happens is, he, being the assistant director, he has to prove himself on this set he's pretty much been promised, if he gets through this, I think it's a weekender drama that they're shooting.
Something. Yeah, I don't...
It's either a daily or a weekender. So, like, it's not just like a 16 episode, it's like a longer one. But if he pretty much is the gopher for everybody, and if he gets through that, he's been promised his own show. And so, like, that's why he kind of puts up with stuff. And they're having trouble casting her, and he gets mad kind of fast, and so he starts bad-mouthing her, and every time he bad-mouths her, she overhears.
The classic setup. Perfection.
She's right behind me moments. Isn't
yeah.
She?
Yes.
And it's like,
and even once they patch it up and, like, they become friends and, like, she gets to where she, like, kind of trusts him as a friend, he goes and he puts his big fat foot in his mouth with, like, the other lead that hates her, like, because he's just trying to, like, soothe people, and he missteps real bad, and so she's, like, done with him. And so, yeah, I appreciate that. I like a good... You're getting what you deserve, dude. You were a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's not as simple as, oh, childhood buddies, be nice to me. It's not that easy. So, like, there is a rough path with that, which I appreciated. I also want to highlight, there's a scene where they couldn't get her stunt double in, and she has dyed red hair, long dyed red hair. Mm-hmm. So he is her stunt double, so he gets
beautiful. Listen, we love a good cross-dress moment. Okay.
So he's wearing this dress and wig, and he keeps on having to throw himself down this hill over and over and over. And she's not mad at him at that moment, I don't think. So she feels really bad watching him have to do this. And of course he's just the assistant director, so no one's, like, helping him. He's not having a team of people, like, assist him when he keeps, like, kind of getting hurt. So she felt really bad, but, like, I loved that. But yeah, a cross-dressing moment, and she also thought he looked pretty hilarious in the wig, so she was getting to laugh a lot. But
and he played it up a lot too. Like, he was like, "Hey," and he's flinging
like
his
he was
hair,
being
and, like,
femmy.
"Do I look good?" And she's like, "You look great, perfect." Yeah.
So what I also appreciate is the type of personalities that the two leads have, like their characters. He's pretty playful overall, so like that's really fun. Very different from Young Lady and Gentleman. So you do get that
very
difference.
much so.
He does have curly permed hair the entire time because that's been the thing. Like, oh, no one else in his family has that. I wonder why. It's because it's from his birth mom.
What a mystery.
And then because she's been a child star and all these things, like she kind of has this naivety to her, but she's also, they kind of highlight pretty quick in her adult version, like everyone usually kind of ends up burning her because of using her for things, and she's been through a lot of stuff from a young age, so like all that. So anyway, good times. I really been appreciating it. I'm halfway through episode 8. There's been more since then, but it's around an hour. It is on, I watch it on Cocoa. It's probably on Viki Pass Plus or whatever. Cocoa side.
I watch it on Cocoa too.
So, but yeah, like I'm not a weekender person, so this is gonna try to be my first full weekender. We're gonna see.
Good luck.
Especially if they don't have any more weird age dating. I will be more okay with it.
Yeah, guys, just like please just don't give me that.
One of us.
No more weird.
No kids right now, so that's a weird thing for a weekender. Usually there's young
so the only concern now is the 20-year-old who does have the mentality of a 12-year-old. It's like, how about let's not make anything icky.
Let's just let that simmer. We don't need to add anything. Like that's perfectly spiced. That's cooking. We'll just put it to the side.
Laid some groundwork there where the parents have said that the doctors said that she's not damaged in a way that she couldn't. Like it could heal the brain.
It could reverse itself.
It could reverse itself.
They're out right now. It's like, okay, now
so
feed that
okay. But like the thing to me is that even if that reverses, she still like didn't have the breadth of that experience, right? You don't fix your brain damage and then suddenly like fast forward age up, like she's still gonna be who she is, right?
And suddenly you're that scene from The Time Machine where it's like zipping up through all of history. It's not how it works.
That's not really, but sure, we'll see where they go with that.
So how are you liking it, Amanda? Like, I'm enjoying it a lot. I knew from square one. I'm like, ooh, Im Soo Young and Ji Hyun Woo. I'm here. I will be here. Thank you very much. Like, that's what I do.
Exactly. I love him. I love her. I love a weekender. I love a weekender that's more family focused. And so far, there's not a lot of like adult siblings, but the adult siblings they have are kind of like pretty decent to each other. There hasn't been a lot of interaction, but like I don't like when it's all families that hate each other, like all hate each other within the family. So far we don't really have that. Everybody within a family unit seems to love each other, so that's other than the rich family, but rich families are rich families.
I do wonder how far we're gonna go with some stuff. They have a lot of episodes left, so
yeah, they do. So
we can go lots of places still.
We really can, and they probably will, because that's how this works. So I imagine there will be some secret dating for a while, partially because our lead is an actress, and partially because on his side, because he knows his family hates her family. Yeah. So I imagine we'll do that for a while. Mm-hmm.
So how about you, Jessie?
So back in October of 2018, all of our Asian drama hearts broke when a certain website was shut down, just with no warning whatsoever, just taken out. R.I.P. Drama Fever. We really
real one.
You
were a real one, man. You were a real one.
Yeah, we still think about you all the time. At the time, I was watching a lot of things on air. and they had just put on, within like a couple of weeks before it all shut down, they had put on a J-drama that I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna like wait until I'm done with like what I'm watching right now, and pick it up. And obviously that, you know, couldn't
Little
happen
did you
because,
know. Little did you
yeah,
know.
you know, I didn't. And ever since then, I've been thinking about this drama and thinking about how I should watch it. I didn't know the synopsis of it at all. I was just like, I need to watch this drama now. And so I finally like started watching it. And it's called The Black Leather Notebook. And it is a lot more interesting than I had ever expected.
Nice.
Essentially, it's about this girl who has a lot of like family debt that she is trying to pay off. So like when you first see her, she's working as a temp at a bank, and also at night working as a girl at a host bar. And you very quickly find out that like everybody around her is not so good and doing very shifty things. And very quickly do you realize that she is very, very keen on everything that's going on around her. And so she uses that and just being smart and witty to her advantage. And she ends up doing some things and lands some money to start her own host bar. And so the whole drama is like about her trying to settle this debt for her parents. You see various flashbacks of like the debt collectors coming to try to like get the money from her, and it's a very bad time for her. But you don't like really get any more from like her family, so you don't like know what has happened to her family. And so it's just like her kind of schmoozing with all these like guys who are in like, positions of power, positions of money, and basically just her kind of swindling them out of money. But it's very like, the way that it's done is very like interesting because she's not like terrible. Like she also has like super high standards too, and also kind of looks out for people around her. So she's doing things and getting things from people who are genuinely bad people. Like it's bad people that you're like, yeah, that person does not deserve the money and deserves this like humiliation and threat of being exposed and all of their power going away. It's really cool though, because it's just like she's so good. It's the lead actress is Takai Emi. If you've seen Age Harassment, which is on Viki, she's the lead in that. She's been in a bunch of different stuff too, but she's so good at this role, and she's so like just the way that she like performs in the role is super interesting and so calculated, and it like she lives in like a gray area, but not really. Like you never get the sense that like you are fearful of her being a terrible person, but she is still doing terrible things. She's not doing legal things as well. Yeah. But it's like one of those things, like kind of like a Robin Hood-esque type story because of what she's doing and how she's manipulating, like specifically manipulating the men around her, and like the backdrop being this host bar really kind of lends to that too, because if you don't know, host bars are like literally just clubs where pretty young females entertain men, usually older men.
And sometimes it's pretty young men entertaining older women.
That's
like
true, yeah.
They're equal opportunity in the host industry in Japan, I hear.
Like they snooze with them, they drink liquor with them and flirt with them and make them feel,
special.
Like they're special and, handsome or whatever. But I think just that dynamic and that how she's like playing this game of chess with everyone is like super interesting and super fascinating. I'm about halfway through the drama. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying kind of like the threads that are happening and kind of like the mystery aspect of everything too, because it's kind of like got a little like air of like what's going on, what's gonna happen next type feel to it. But I'm finally happy that almost 6 years later, I'm finally watching this J drama that was taken away from me by Warner Brothers.
You did it.
I did it.
Listen, they can't keep you down, Jessie. They can't keep you down.
Can't.
We always win in the end. You know?
Yeah. They tried, but nope. But it's really cool. If you can, find it, you should watch it.
It sounds very, we support women's rights and women's rights.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's like the perfect summation of this drama. Oh, it's also like if you're listening to this and you like watch a lot of J-dramas, this is an adaptation. There was a 2004 original drama of this as well, and they have done some like specials, like not like super recently, but I think like 2021, 2022. So like fairly recently. So like if this sounds familiar, it is an adaptation from that original work from 2004.
Fun. Cool. Very cool. So I have also been watching, among other things, a Taiwanese drama. Now, these dramas that sometimes I see based on a book written by Priest, and I get real excited to go watch the drama. And usually I am rewarded for my efforts. So this one is called Unknown. It's based on the Priest novel Dage, which does mean brother. Stay with me because this show goes hog wild, okay? So you meet this like young man named Wei Qian, and he is rough and tumble, okay? He's working with a gang. He's making bad choices in life. And then you find out that like his parents have died and he's now in charge of his little sister. This seems like a real failure of a social net system personally, if in my own opinion, but it is what it is. He then just like, there's like this little kid who like lives on the streets because his abusive drug addict mother like kicked him out, and he's like 8. And so he's like, come on kid, you can like come live at my house, I guess. Like what's one more kid at my house, you know? So then like, he's like, listen, I gotta clean up my act. I have 2 kids to like take care of. He's only like 17. Like he's not, you know, an adult at this point. So he like fights his way out of the gang. He gets his degree in like computer science. Everything's going great. It's 2 siblings. Okay, we're using the air quotes around siblings for one of them. This is important for the plot. That we just sort of
for the plot
are now like there's the kid that he brought in off the street who he considers his brother. This is an important distinction, that he considers him at this moment as his little brother, is like a genius. He's so well at school. Like his little sister is just kind of, you know, like a flighty, she's cute, like she's harmless, you know, she's just living her life as a teen. He's starting this business with his best friends and like everything's going great, and then his little brother is like, I'm in love with you. And he's like, oh. Well, first the little brother is like, I'm gay. And he's like, oh man, like,
what age are we at when that's happening?
Like, we're like, his little brother, the little brother, air quotes, is now like in his like early 20s, like college age.
I'm just trying to see what age we're talking about.
Yeah, so like adults, okay?
We're
like
talking adults.
He's a young adult, and then, you know, like I'd say almost 30 adult, okay? And he's never had a girlfriend. Like he's done everything to just take care of these 2 kids. That's been his whole life, his whole goal. And then he's like, finds out his little brother, air quotes again, is gay, and is like, oh, like I hope that doesn't have him a hard life, like, And then little brother's like, yeah, I'm gay for you. And he's like, wait, oh, X, and then sends him off. Anyway, I don't want to. I'm 9 episodes in. It's a 12-episode show. It's on Viki is where you can watch it. And it's really sort of, it's done in the same style that a lot of Taiwanese shows are, where it feels very, almost like it's filmed in sort of, almost like you feel like you're inside the room with these people. You know what I mean? Like everything feels really like you're just observing from a corner. It's really well done, and I am genuinely enjoying it, even though it is incredibly problematic. But that's part, listen, it is what it is, right? Like, this isn't the first time we've encountered a plot of, like, you know, like Step Brothers or something. Like, this is, listen, I've been reading yaoi for years. Like, this is...
This is nothing.
This is nothing. The acting is incredible.
So what's like the tone of it?
The tone is very tense. Like it's very, like, the whole time, like, I feel like it's sort of shot like you're getting from their two perspectives, and both of them feel suffocated by their lives in very different ways. So, like, one is suffocated under the burden of he feels responsible for everything, right? And he can't ever do anything for himself because everything hinges on him. And then the younger character is suffocated under his own, like, you know, forbidden feelings, as it were. And then, of course, there's the backdrop of, like, he may have accidentally sent the gang leader to jail, and he might be getting out at some point. Like, that's a thing, like, always in the background as well. And then you have, like, the sister character who is blissfully ignorant of everything. She just wants to be an actress. She's just, like, vibing, okay? And then you've got, like, the older brother's, like, best friend who's just, like, who knows too much. Like, everyone tells him everything, and he's like, I am burdened by the knowledge and having to give advice to these hot messes, and also making questionable choices of my own. So it is, I really am enjoying, I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm really genuinely enjoying this show. But as I said, for those of you who are less inclined towards the more problematic BL shows, this may not be the one.
Now, I will say, any consent issues so far? Okay.
Kind of, but like, it's like it's hard to parse, okay?
Okay.
It's like, it's not like, you know, it's maybe someone kisses someone else and then the person is like, why the fuck did you just do that? Like, you know, that sort of thing. But there's no, like, no one's been forced upon in any, like, you know,
other capacity
or anything. Yeah, like, so, it's there's like an overwhelming sense of sadness over the whole thing, which is, sometimes I'm into that in my life, just watching these shows. I just have an overwhelming sense of, like, man, these people are depressed, you know? So that's sort of the vibe.
So it's a good time is what I'm hearing.
Listen, it's not bad. It's not bad. The acting is phenomenal. Okay? And the episodes aren't longer. They're only like half an hour. So
Priest knows how to write them too.
Yeah, listen, Priest knows how to write these complex situations. You know what I mean? Like, she's astute to the human condition of, like, perhaps forbidden relationships that aren't, they toe the line, but they're not, you know, it's never pure incest. Like, we ain't doing that here, okay? Like that. But, you know, it's questionable, okay? But anyway, so just know, if you're planning on watching it, I have warned you that it is questionable,
well,
it is sad.
It's kind of unfortunate that they didn't give it the English title of Brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Dage does mean, yeah.
That'd be a good little signal.
That would be,
people that need to steer clear.
Like, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, they are, but they're not. But they're in the
I
weird
mean,
third
but I
place.
just mean if the people that were that would be like, I don't even want to be in on this conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Would peace out.
Like, it's pretty clear what the story's about. At least for people who are in it enough that they're reading the My Drama List stuff, they should have a sense of where these things are headed.
And I let me just like double check here, but I feel like Vicky also makes it pretty clear when you like go into the show premise here. So he loses his parents and is forced to become the head of the family to look after his bio sister and adopted brother. They don't say how. That makes it seem like the parents adopted this kid. They did not. Okay, like he was just a street waif. I will be honest. The synopsis on Vicky makes it seem like it's more of like, and also the image on Vicky makes it seem like it's more of a cute good time than it actually is. It looks... I'm looking at the image now and I'm like, that's not really the vibe of the show. But you know what, Vicky? I'm sure you know what you're doing. The rivalry continues.
So what is the rating that Vicky gives it? Let's ask that question.
That's a really good question. It's rated R, which I think is fair. Okay,
this time.
I think that is a fair rating, Vicky. You get off this time. Like, when I catch you, Vicky. For anyone who's not aware, we have a long-standing beef with Vicky's rating systems for BLs because they used to be absolutely ridiculous. They would rate things that were barely a G, like R, because two. But
like if it was a straight couple, you would have like
G. It would have been
murder and death. Yeah. And it'd be like nothing.
But it was like, oh, these two dudes like smooch one time, and it's like, R. We gotta protect the children from fellas smooching. Like, get over yourself. Anyway, they've gotten a bit better because I think I even wrote a complaint letter about it. So.
Yeah, I think maybe we were the ones to really be like,
hey, Vicky, what the fuck is this?
We see what you're doing.
If you ever want to lodge a complaint, feel free to put our name on it. We're probably in bad with them.
Yeah, there's one employee at Vicky who gets our regular complaints to them, and it's like these fuckers again.
Because we also encourage, hey, everybody request this show from Vicky. Especially Japanese ones, like they should have more. Stop.
At this point, our one-sided beef with Vicky is just a source of amusement to me because I'm sure like Vicky as a whole does not know that we beef with them, but we do. We beef, Vicky.
That plus fair labor practices that we
beef.
That's the whole thing.
All right, Amanda, what else have you been watching? Anything good?
Still going through my anime phase here. I started and nearly finished. I was going to get it done before I came on tonight, but life happened.
Hey, it is what it is.
It's called Isekai Shokudo, or the English title is Restaurant to Another World. So this is just a cozy slice of life restaurant fantasy series. So it is about a restaurant in Japan. This guy runs it. His grandpa ran it before him. And every Saturday, he closes up early, locks the door to Japan because the back door magically opens up in a fantasy land.
Haven't you been watching this for a while? I feel like you've mentioned it before. That's why I'm asking.
I might have. Maybe I did.
Listen, this is not
was there another isekai restaurant?
There might have been.
One.
Of course there is.
That was an isekai restaurant one, and it's a totally different story. Like,
okay,
it's wild.
It's a common fodder, okay? Like,
pardon me.
So every Saturday, the evening, the back door opens, and it opens into this magical world, and it's a single magical world, but much like our world, there are many different kinds of people and many different cultures on this world. So there are, there's an elven country, and there's fairies and dragons and demons, and there's just all kinds of different people live in all kinds of different places, and they all randomly encounter doors in weird places in their cellar, out in the middle of a field, whatever, and go, what's this door? I should check it out. And then walk through, and they're in like a modern day Japanese restaurant, and they, okay, and then they eat food. And sometimes they, come up against like their enemies or something, but when we're in the restaurant, we're all just chilling and eating our food. And there's a lot of discussions about things like if you remember that a couple episodes from Search WWW, there was like those couple episodes where they dealt with the whole thing about tonkatsu, like whether you pour the sauce or you dip the sauce. It's basically like 12 episodes of that over various things. Like, is this sauce
That's
better
the
on
vibe.
rice, or is it better on noodles? Discuss. And you've got a couple of elves. The elves are all vegan, so then there's like always,
Perfect.
And then there's like other people who are, the fairies are sort of, I don't remember what, fruitarians or whatever, right? They only want the fresh fruit. There's these weird sort of like angel looking kids with like
are
wings
they gluten free?
No, they eat raw fish. Like, okay. You just see them, they catch their own fish, and they're just like, pick them up. And so then they show up at this restaurant, and they're like, you probably don't have anything like that. He's like, I got you. I got you.
I got something for everyone. Don't worry about it.
And it's great.
I love the vibe.
And there's like in there, they'll show little bits of what's going on in the elven world, in the magical world, and there's stuff that goes on. There's like but that's not the point. So it's like you kind of see that like, ooh, this person has a tragic backstory. But enough about that. Let's have
Here's a cooking montage for you. Don't worry about it. I love that. I love that.
It's so chill. It's so easy. It's one of the things that you see is that these people who from all these different continents and different races and stuff sit and have chit chats, and they'll be like, oh, I recognize that person. And then sometimes they will bump into each other in their like real world. And then it's like, oh, like they will have misconceptions that they don't have anymore, but like other people do. But so I'm willing to give you a job, even though you're half demon, because there's a half demon girl who's a waitress in the restaurant. And she finds her way in there in the first episode, like she's hungry and cold because she's half human, half demon, and the humans hate the demons, and the demons think she's useless because she's human. And so she can't keep a job because as soon as humans find out she's a demon, they want her out of their house, kind of thing. So she finds this door and sneaks in, and it's warm, and there's food sitting in a pot on the stove, and the guy's already gone to bed. He's cooking up stock for the next day, and she's like, the food is here, I'm gonna eat it. And then she falls asleep, and he's like, well, I guess you need to have a job to pay for your food. So now she does that, but then the other 6 days of the week she's working in this other lady's house because this lady found a door to the restaurant, and was like, and then when she shows up at the door for a job, she's like, hey, I know you, you're from the restaurant, sure, I'll hire you. Like, it's just cute. There's dragons who become human and come into the store, and like the dragons like curries, but like, is beef curry or chicken curry the right curry? Like,
we need more information on this curry situation unfolding.
There's a bunch of different kinds of like dwarfs and human like warlords and stuff, and it's like they'll get into like full on like fisticuffs over like what's the best thing to put on a sandwich, like, or what's the best way to have a pork cutlet, or what's the best, you know, and it's like, and then they'll get all upset, and then the chef will be like, I won't feed you guys anymore, and they'll be like, we're done, we're fine, we're good, we
get it, we didn't mean it, we didn't mean it.
Pork cutlet, we just all agreed pork cutlet's great, whether you have it on rice or on a bun or like whatever, you're a good cook. And desserts, and they go into like the big descriptors of these foods, and it's very cute and very sweet, and there is like little bits of story that kind of carry over, but not really, because, you know, like, what can you do, like the kid from the desert who's got a crush on some, like, you know, princess from another, like, from Europe or something, like, he ain't ever seeing her in real life, but, you know, once a week he sits there and makes moony eyes over her. And her you know, and his sister's like, so talk to her, and he's like, girls are hard, and it's like, okay, whatever,
if you say so.
Yeah. So it's just
that sounds cute.
It's just cute and easy and soft, and you just like, I mean, maybe don't go in hungry if that's the problem for you, but I am learning lots of, and they're very clear about what the names of the different foods are and stuff. So I'll be like, oh, I can look that up now. Like,
I love that's such like a classic like way to set up this sort of show. There's another one that I forget what it's called. It's like campfire cooking in a fantasy world or something, and like there'll be all this like fantasy stuff happening, but it's like no, we're just following this guy who got isekai'd into a fantasy world who's just like cooking on a campfire and like being like, here's how you make soy sauce chicken, and you're like, yes, that gives a shit about this other stuff. Yes,
I'm here for the food.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's on Crunchyroll. It's, you know, easy.
I will say, if you're into that type of a concept, like, there's an Otome game called Cafe Enchanté. Cute, but also devastates your soul later.
Yeah.
Like, so
to do that.
Well, I'm just saying, but it is, so you have, like, the main dateable characters, that's the way those types of games function. They're all from different races, and there's doorways to all their worlds, and so you get to, like, if you end up on someone's plot line, you go see their world, and they all have tragic backstory. Here's this person's tragic backstory.
Of course.
And the main one, it's the one that will absolutely destroy your soul. But in the meantime, it's like, hey, this is Grandpa's cafe that everyone likes to come have coffee at and just like chill and be like, here's an angel and a demon and all this weird stuff, just like chilling out together. So it's kind of cute. I watched one episode of Lovely Runner.
I watched all 6 that are out for recording.
So you know way more than me, and I won't be getting that is not the crux of what I would be talking. Like, I of course can't talk plot because what episode? Yeah. But the acting so far, amazing. We're talking Byung-woo Suk. We're talking Kim Hae-yeon. Just that, like,
incredible.
That's all you need to know. But it is beneficial to know in Flying's Lee Sung-hyup. Like, that's very important information to know that he plays a guitarist in this show. But so far, like, even just the way they portray what little bit they already portrayed of, like, idol band life. I love these types of shows because, like, it's great. I just
we
love
should
this
do
type of thing.
an episode about dramas with bands. That would be
good.
Yeah. So Natalia, you can talk a lot more about it than I can, but
so yeah.
I mean, I will say,
can you though? Isn't like a lot of it like spoiler?
Like, listen, a lot of it is, but like basic premise we can talk about.
So Kim Hae-yeon's character, Im Sol, she right off the bat, she has no use of her legs anymore. She's in the hospital whenever you see her. So you later on see that she like tries to attend the band's concert, and like she's in a wheelchair and stuff. So like, and the way that's portrayed, it's not, they don't make a huge deal of like all the obstacles that she should face. They actually make it look pretty easy for her to like get around a crowd and things like that. So they didn't make it like, this is all we're focusing on, that she's in a wheelchair. But she's like, she got a job interview. She went, like she was about to go into the concert hall to like, you know, be in line, but she's been waiting on this interview. And so she got a phone call to go to this interview. And she's like, I gotta go. And so she gets there and she sees these stairs, and that is the entire, like, they don't have an elevator. And so she pretty much gets turned away just because of like inaccessibility. And when I say she's perky, I wouldn't even call her plucky. It's just that she's trying to deal with everything as it comes to her.
She tries to stay positive about things. Mm-hmm.
So like, she had to rush back to the concert. She's just trying to rush back to the concert, right? And so, but like, she is bummed about that opportunity. They don't focus on a ton, but they're showing the inaccessibility of a place. So like, I'm bringing that up because I thought that was a good thing that they put in there. And then of course she gets there and already the concert has started. She's not allowed in. She lost her ticket. Bummer. So she tries to make the best of it, and she celebrates outside by herself with her light stick and her little headband, and she's singing along by herself.
Because she's a super fan of the lead singer.
She's a super fan because they like inspired her when she was not doing so hot mentally. And I will say trigger warnings for this show. Like, suicidal ideation, things like that, right off the bat. That is a huge aspect of. So, like, if that is do not pass go for you, do not watch the show. But yeah, I mean, there really wasn't, in episode 1, there weren't many other trigger warnings for that.
Yeah.
Things happen. Then we time slip. There is a time slip that occurs. And so then we're back in high school, and she sees an opportunity to try to hopefully fix what happened.
To not just her, but also the lead singer of a band that she is the super fan of, who happened to attend the same high school as her, but she didn't realize that.
Well, it was the boys' school.
Yeah, it was the boys' school, like, across the way, you know.
Yeah.
They're like,
And when I tell you, if you are watching this show, if you're looking for a show, and you're as passionate about losery simps as I am, are you in?
He's a loser?
Listen, he's not a loser, but he's a loser.
I was like, how can you be a loser when you're like an athletic hunk dude? Like, I'm not seeing that happening.
Listen, Sky, trust me when I say, in front of her, loser. He tries his best, but he continuously like he's always like one step late, or like making the awkward move.
All the posts that I keep seeing on Twitter, they keep calling him Min Min's grandson. Like, he is the simpiest simp.
He's
gone.
From the moment he sees her, is like, holy shit, this is the woman of my dreams.
So, she's herself back at, like, she's her current self back in high school body, okay? Essentially. And so he's high school version of himself. So, like, she, of course, approaches him and gives him a hug because she's like, And all she says is, I'm sorry that you're going through a hard time, blah, blah, blah. And you can tell in that moment, not necessarily just a romantic thing, but like, oh, this is a human that's caring for me. This is a big deal. No one else does hear my struggles, essentially. And it's like, oh, you're gonna be gone. Like, even if you guys are just best friends for the rest of the thing, you're gone.
You're gone. Bye.
And that wasn't, and then, like, listen, I'm not gonna say what it was, but you find out that wasn't the first time he met her. But it's like, she doesn't remember the first time he met her. But let me tell you, gone in an instant. Gone in an instant. Like, absolutely. He saw her, he was like, that's it. She has ruined my life, because there will never be another woman as perfect for me as her. Like, that's the vibe that we're going with. Chef's nom 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 nom, delicious.
But just from episode 1, her crocodile tears at stuff, like, she's such a good actress. Like,
she's such a good actress.
I mean, he's marvelous too. I'm not trying to like discount like how good he is. And then Seung-hope, like, he didn't really get that much time in episode 1, but the time that he got really angry. His character got really angry. And so real life Seung-hope, like, he purposefully, even when he's angry, he purposefully does not show his anger because he knows he looks scary whenever he's very angry. And so his character, when his character got angry, he looks fucking scary. It's like, okay, that is why you have to, like, tone it down in real life.
I don't remember if they introduce him in episode 1 or 2. There is a second male lead in this.
It's episode 2. I saw the little teaser for it. Yeah.
And played by Song Kyeon, he delightful. Loser in a different way. Like, we got... And... Yeah, listen, this show is so I'm excited. It's like I watch it both episodes back to back on Tuesdays because it comes out on Monday and Tuesdays, and I'm just like on Monday it's hard not to watch that. It's hard.
I'm sure.
Episode. I'm like, not on Natalia. You're gonna listen. It's gonna be better if you wake up on Tuesday and then like drink your morning coffee and then watch them back to back. You're gonna enjoy this. I say morning coffee like I drink coffee. I drink tea, but same difference.
Do they typically do cliffhangers at the end of like each pairing of episodes?
Sort of. Soft? Like, just to keep you interested for the next week, like, oh, yeah. No, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's great.
So far, I should have looked up, I'm going to look up the, like, writer right now, because I'm kind of curious. So the director... I think she
wrote True Beauty.
Director is Flower of Evil, My Hollow Love. Oh, there, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Screenwriter...
Okay.
True Beauty.
Yeah, True Beauty.
Top Star You Back. Okay, yes. This is... Yes. This will... I predict now... This will end up on Sky's top of the year. Like, there's no
Come
way
back
it's
in
not
December.
going to. Yeah. Like, I call it now.
Chef's kiss.
And really, if I had had more... I'd already probably be caught up if I was, like... typical time, but like since I don't it was, and I have another one that I haven't been able to watch yet, but just watch next time you hear from me, I will be like knee deep in Blood Free. I guarantee it. So like that's gonna be a thing. I will be if life lets me. So how about you, Jessie? That was on Vicky. I should have said that was on Vicky.
Oh,
here you go, Jessie.
Vicky.
Your turn. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm gonna talk about a J-drama that we kind of talked about last week, but I know not everybody listening to this episode listened to our Dean episode, so whatever. I didn't watch a lot, and all of it was Dean, so listen. But this drama is Dean as a minor character, and it's actually like not about Dean at all. So what if it's it's Tantei No Tantei. The English title is Detective versus Detective. It is a crime thriller about a girl whose sister commits suicide. ? We don't actually see that event. You do see her body be taken away, but this is like first minutes of the show, so I'm not spoiling anything for you. And she finds out that there is a private investigator who is attached to her in some way, or like was tailing her or something, and she thinks that he is part of the reason why she died. And since everybody thinks it's just like a suicide, nobody's actually like doing anything about it, so she kind of dedicates her life to finding out who the killer is, or who this like investigator was, because like you don't know if like the investigator actually is a killer or anything like that. So she ends up deciding that she is going to become a private investigator herself. So she starts to enroll in class, where she meets a professor who is like, this really isn't the life for you. You really don't want to be doing this. Like, I feel like I would be a bad person if if I kind of let this in. And they end up, they don't like really show this. This is kind of more of like, you get like a fast forward to the future or to the present day, and you find that they have started a detective agency that actually targets private investigators, because the like show makes a big point to tell you. Now, I don't know if this is just for the show or if this is actually something that like what is happening in Japanese society. But private investigators were starting to go rogue because they had all the same like techniques and tricks and information that detectives do. They were starting to kind of use it for themselves, for their own gain. So like blackmailing people really easily, you know, because they can like tail the person and find out their secrets and then like use that against them. So like that sort of thing. So this agency that she ends up with her like previous professor, they are specifically going after these rogue private investigators. And when we see that like jump to the present day, it is the first day of another girl who has decided to join the team. She's like not really like private investigator person, but she kind of is like looking for a job because she used to live with her sister and her sister just got married, so she needs like a job so she can live on her own and stuff. And that character is played by Kawaguchi Haruna, who is the reason I started this drama first and then found out that Dean was in it, and I was like, yes, 2 birds with 1 stone. My
Bonus
homework is
Dean.
done.
Yep. Bonus Dean.
You will know her from a bunch of things. Most like I think most popular, especially like in the past couple of years, is she's the lead in Silent. So that's her. She's very great at everything she does. I also had seen her in like the main reason was the Why I Dress Up for Love is a drama that I watched like last year that I really loved her in. And so that's why I had this on my list. And then the main detective is played by Kitagawa Kaiko, and she was in a drama that I watched, was called like My House is, what is it called? No, of course I'm on my drama list, so everything's in the Japanese. It is the like My House Is Your Home or something like that. She plays like a real estate person. It used to be on Viki. I don't think it is anymore. But it's the drama is really interesting because you kind of see them like kind of do like day-to-day things with like what they're doing with the agency, but really it is mostly about like what's going on with her sister, because she's still investigating what went on and what's happening, and trying to figure out what that is. And lots of like nets happen and like things start to like unravel when the story like progresses. They also have like the police officers who are like very not okay with like any private investigator, even them, because they're technically private investigators, you know, going after private investigators. They're not actually like police officers. Yeah. So the police officers are like, oh, I hate these private investigators, and they're like, oh, evil.
Ooh, those private investigators will get you next time.
So they're always like very like focused on the main female lead. But like she kicks ass. She's really great. She, you know, she is very much like since I'm only doing this for my sister, I don't care about my health type person. But she does like, she will like defend other people, and there are like big storylines that kind of unravel that like you see that in and I think that her and the girl from Silent, their chemistry is really great together, and it very much focuses on them the most. They are paired up together. The main lead, it's also very standoffish, and like the, you know, the other girl is a little bit like, you know, happier and cheerful. So you got the like the grump and sunshine kind of aspect to it. And like they both kind of like bring out something out of each other too. So it like there's really nice like relationship that plays within them too. So it's a really cool thing, a really cool drama. I really enjoyed like watching it. There is this point like towards the end, this is not like a spoiler or anything, but she kind of like teams up with a couple of the other private investigators, and it's like the only time that like this really happens, and they're all kind of like just like boys being boys type investigators, but like the like scenes that they have with them make me really wish that there was like a spin-off show with just like them, because like they had some like fun things, because they all had like kind of a quirky thing, but like also like each of the investigators, like they all like did their investigations a little bit differently, so they had like a little bit more like one was did this way and one did it this way and one did it this way, so like it was like a group of people coming together with all their skills to help out, even though they kind of all hate each other too. It's kind of like if you just like got like a bunch of rival sports teams, like one team member from each, and then you're like, you have to go do this like mission. And they're like, I hate you, but also we're good together. I guess for this moment in time, we will join together and help out. But I like what I really enjoyed, and even though they're like, oh, well, almost everybody else is very like, it's all the males being shitty and stuff. They very much focus on it being the two female leads show, which is really great for shows like this.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nice.
Very fun. So before we bid ye all adieu, we do a little thing where called the lightning round, where we just do a very quick, air quotes, you know, sort of summary of anything else we've been watching that we thought you might enjoy. And it's in the same order, so I guess it's me first, yet again. I watched entirely the 2023 drama, You Are Desire. It's a C drama. I really enjoyed it. It's about a teenager who gets sent by her mom to live with her dad after their divorce. And her dad has like a new husband and a new family. A new husband. Oh, that made it more exciting. No, her dad has a new wife and a new family. And he's kind of a dick. And she thinks he's a dick too, and like he's mean to her for no reason. But she then becomes friends with this like the problem student in class, who turns out isn't a problem student at all. People are just dumbasses. And a beautiful love story is formed, going from high school into university, trials and tribulations, and etc. It was very nice. It was on Viki, and I enjoyed it. I don't really understand the title. The title doesn't really, like, it's not a very particularly, like, passionate show. Right. Like, you know, it's not, you know, fiery desire. Like, it's nothing like, it's just people. But I genuinely enjoyed it. I've been watching the 2022 historical C-drama, New Life Begins. It's 40 episodes, so I've been working my way through it. Which is basically about like I assume like fictional version of like fictional China, historical China, where there's 6 brothers, and they bring in like the head province of all of these different little countries, and a girl is sent from each province to like marry each one of the brothers to like, you know, for diplomacy purposes, and it follows basically the 6th brother, and his new wife, who's from like the poorest provinces, and he's like sickly, and so anyway, he's been playing a long con on like politics, you know how it goes, and you know, them maybe falling in love and having a life together. It goes from being, like, real chill comedy vibes to just being horrifically, like, sad and terrible and tragic, and then like 2 episodes later it's like, we gotta catch the chicken that got loose, and you're like, oh, we're back, okay, we're back on the bad vibe, okay, sure. So I'm on a real roller coaster with it. Like you never know where you're getting. I also, I'm just getting through all the C dramas first, I guess. I also watched My Little Happiness, which is from 2021, which is about a woman who wants to be a lawyer, and she like secretly passed the bar, but like her mom doesn't want her to be a lawyer because her dad was a lawyer and like he died, and her mom has like lawyer trauma. But anyways, but she's
lawyer trauma.
Listen. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a real, like, it must be real hard having a hardworking daughter who passed the bar without going to law school. That must be such a struggle you're having, right? Anywho, she then like becomes an intern in like the legal department of a hospital. Like she's an intern at a law firm, but like one of their clients is this hospital, and so she's sent to like do her internship where there's a hot doctor. Yeah. And
this sounds like, why does this sound like a role for drama?
It does. But so the hot doctor has been looking for this girl he met when he was a kid, who disappeared, who she never got his name, but he knew her name, and oh no, they have the same name. Could it be? Yeah. Anyway, he's also her landlord, of course. Because, like, listen,
of course,
listen, we're just throwing it
because the setting was also apartment, and there you be.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a medical drama, but in an apartment setting.
Lawyer, medical, apartment.
It was really cute. It was 28 episodes. It's on Viki. It's very cute. It's very cute. It's exactly what you would expect from a C drama. You know, like. Oh, maybe he has some childhood trauma. Like, of course he does. He's a man, and he's a successful rich man in a C drama. Like, so anyway, that was good. Okay, so I've also been enjoying some Thai dramas. I'm nearing the end here. I've been watching Beauty Newbie, which is the Thai remake of My Ideas Gang and Beauty, and I've been enjoying it. Enjoying it. You know what? It has a lot of haters, but I'm not one of them. Okay, I think it's fine. I'm enjoying it. I think everyone's doing a fine job. Okay, I'm like halfway through it, and I think I'm enjoying myself. If you know the premise of My Ideas Gang and Beauty, it's the same premise, but like with things changed because it's Thai, so they've changed elements of it. It's good. I enjoy it. Okay, so I also watched the entirety of the Thai drama City of Stars on iQIYI. It was fine. It was like a little light on plot, but like they were like, listen, the acting was fine, you know, the filming was fine, you know, it had also, you know, so it's about this programmer who lives in America, and he works for like a social media company, and the social media company is like for like a social media that you can only post positive things on it. And so he's about to go back to Thailand for like a vacation to visit his family when like one of the top stars in Thailand, who usually plays villains, starts posting on their social media site, like skyrocketing the popularity of this social media site. And then, he's actually been like renting the house that the guy's parents own next door to like his place, and they run into each other, and then like shenanigans happen. Oh no, this guy's been hiding that he's been gay. Like this actor has been hiding that he's been gay, and like his manager's like, you don't tell anyone anything. We don't tell anyone anything about your private life. You're not dating anyone. You're not gay. You're not straight. It doesn't matter. There's like this. I've noticed this ongoing bit. Like it's like I don't know if it's a bit. I don't know what the word I'm looking for here. Where for some reason they have like trans women playing the managers on so many of these like BL shows, these Thai BL. I'm like, is this like a thing? Like, is this like a conscious thing? But anyway, it also has a secondary plot involving the dude's, like the actor dude's best friend, who's like a womanizer, but the only reason he's a womanizer is because he got his heart broken by like
of course.
the woman of his dreams. But the reason that she broke up with him was because she was a trans woman and didn't want to ruin his career when people found out that he was dating a trans woman. And so there's like a lot of things going on there. It was fine. The show, it had a lot of potential that perhaps it couldn't live up to, you know, but it was fine. And that brings me to my last show, Two Worlds. It's on iQIYI. It's another Thai BL show, and it stars Max Nat, which is why I initially started watching it, and the premise seemed really interesting. I've seen 6 episodes. I'll probably go watch episode 7, because I'm in it now, after we finish recording, because they drop on Thursdays. This show makes no sense. But it's like, it's compelling at the same time, but you're like, I don't know what we're doing. I don't understand any of the choices that are being made in the plot, acting, directing of this show, but I'm already watching it. So basically, you follow this guy named Kram, who's like sort of like a country bumpkin. The Thai version of a country bumpkin, which is like he lives in like a middle of a beautiful rainforest. And he falls in love with, like, this local businessman's son. And then the local businessman's son is, like, horrifically murdered in front of him. And he's like, oh. But then there's, like, a mystical pool. And, like, sometimes if you go make a wish in the mystical pool, like, things will happen. And it turns blue and glows. And so he falls into this pool and then ends up in a world that's almost exactly like his world. Except that he is dead in this world. And so, which is a big surprise to that world's versions of his ex-boyfriend, who sees him and is like, I watched you die. And he's like, okay, but now you can help me save my boyfriend from the other world who's not dead in this world yet. But who doesn't know anything about what's happening, because these two worlds are not... Anyway, it's a great concept, okay? Like,
Like, that's very compelling.
It's very compelling. Nothing happening in it ever makes any sense. But I can't look away. I can't look away. I'm like...
So would you be willing to call it bad?
It's
nonsensical?
It's just like, when I tell you, like, Max, the actor Max, who plays the dude whose boyfriend comes back to life magically in the second world, he's really putting his all into this role. Okay? He is doing the most. He is putting in effort to try to make sense of what is happening. Okay? And I will say, episode 6, this is a minor spoiler, but it is a show starring Max Nat, so it's really not that much of a spoiler. There is a very... one thing about Max Nat is when you're watching a show with them that's rated R, as this show is, okay? And they have a sex scene, it's gonna be the most intimate shit you've ever seen in your life. You're gonna be like, should I be here? Like, you guys
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, like, you guys really look like you're having like a really involved
Just gonna go
time here, and it's like, so it's like beautiful, intimate direction happening with these two, but that doesn't really
negate the rest of the show.
Negate the fact that I have no idea why they're having sex right now. And I'm like, okay, because we'll suddenly get launched into like flashbacks, but there's nothing to indicate that this is a flashback, so you just gotta sort of be like, oh, this is the past, or oh, this was happened in the other world, but like, there's no, like, there should have like color toned things or something. Anyway, I don't know, but I'm watching it, and I'll probably finish it because I'm 6 episodes deep now. So anyway, that's on iQIYI. Like, just
highly
just
recommended from Natalia.
Listen, like, if you're really looking for that Max Nat in your life, just go rewatch Naughty Babe. It's fine, you know. Like, that show at least makes sense, you know. Like, maybe, and I feel like maybe this is like a translational thing, like perhaps, but I don't think it is. Like, I think it's just kind of
sometimes when you run into that
Uh-huh.
type of thing, you are like, you do wonder. It's like, am I just missing some linguistic thing? Like,
yeah, like,
all
is
the
there
time?
just like something that I'm not catching? Like, did I
Mhm.
just like look away for a second and miss like the important thing that like would have made all of
Right?
this cogent? But I don't know. But I've like asked other people who are watching, and they're like, "Nah, man, I'm just here for the vibes." I'm like, "Okay, I see. I
I'm here.
understand. Okay,
It's like,
okay.
let's be clear. I'm here for Max. That is why we
Yeah.
are here. That is what we are
That's
getting.
why, listen, I enjoy them. I enjoy their other projects, so I will watch it just to be like, you're doing a thing, okay?
Mhm.
You're
Hey,
like, listen,
sure.
we all make these choices sometimes.
Mhm. Mhm.
I hope that they're paying their bills, you know? So,
For sure.
Amanda, you watching anything else?
I'm watching some other animes. Still watching One Piece because
Oh, you know, you'll be
You
watching
love
that
it.
till you
Yeah.
die. Yeah.
Frankie's on the crew now, so for those of you who know, that gives you some
That's
sense
where you
of
are.
how I am. I started a drama that's an anime that's currently airing right now. It's called Bartender Glass of God. It is based out of a manga series from like 2004, and there was a 2006 version of this anime, which is also on Crunchyroll, and I might go watch that because this like once a week thing is killing me. It's very enjoyable. It's very like, that 3-star bar that we watched a couple years ago or whatever, that was like, just here's a Japanese bar and people make drinks. It's kind of that. The base premise is this girl, her grandfather built this beautiful high-end hotel. She works in the office there, and they have a really fancy restaurant, and then they've got a classic just like counter bar situation, and grandpa wants the right bartender. We have to have the perfect bartender. So the hotel's been open for 2 months and the bar's still not open, and they find this guy at this bar, and he's the guy, but he won't take the job because the bar is on the top floor of the hotel and he's afraid of heights. So, but that's sort of like the loose premise for this. It's, I don't know, it's like it's just drinks. It's just very slice of life. Like, people come into the bar and they're having a rough day, and let's talk about this drink and talk about exactly what goes into this drink and which kind of liquors and whatever. So it's very chill. I'm enjoying it. There's another one that I started that's currently airing. It's called High Speed Etoile. It is about race cars, the racing world. It's very, if I had to compare it to something, what keeps popping in my head is it's very like Gem and the Holograms, except for they drive cars instead of they're in a band. Like, it's
okay.
Like, there are dudes who drive cars, but we are not spending any time with them. It is all about these girls with cool hair who drive fast cars.
That is all that matters. Right? Let's be real.
Our main character is a girl who trained to be a ballerina, and then because of something, that was taken away from her. And it looks like there was like an accident or something. So as she recovered, what she did was she played these driving simulation like video games, and she has like a top score, and this company comes to her and they're like, we want to get into like the racing, and you are really, really good with the games. And this racetrack uses AI. So there's AI like built into the cars and stuff. So you have to be a good driver, but you don't necessarily have to be a good driver. She can kind of get by on certain things. She doesn't know all the rules though, so that kind of bites her in the butt at times. And she knows like she knows who the top racers, like the two top racers are called the King and the Queen, and she recognizes their cars, but she could not pick them out in a lineup. So I just had a cute episode where like Queen came and chatted her up on the street, and she thought this was a fan, and like she's with another girl who's a racer, and she's like, sweetie, no, like that's okay. And they go, like, they spend the whole day together. And every time, everybody who's around them is, like, looking at her, and they're like, surely now is when it's going to click. And she's going to, no, she's still not connecting these dots. But it's really cute. It's, I don't know, it's very, there's no stakes. There's no stakes. There's just a girl who was really good at video games who now drives a race car at very high speeds.
Terrifying.
And, it's wild. Well, this is one of the things that they do make a point of mentioning. There are accidents, but all of the accidents are self-contained. Like, they're always, like, you spun out from going too fast type accidents.
Yeah.
Because the AIs that are built into these cars won't allow them to come close enough to each other to hit. Mm-hmm. So you never have collisions. You never have, so there's a lot more ease in it that way. You don't worry about, like, for high-speed racing, it's very, very low stakes. And there's, like, these AI mascot girls who, like, holograms that explain how racing works and does all... It's just very... Yeah. Some of the stuff I've read compares it to Sailor Moon, and I'm like, really? Because they're not doing anything.
They're not fighting crime.
I don't know. They're just
not fighting evil by moonlight.
There's nothing.
Racing cars by daylight. By moonlight. Racing cars by daylight.
And never
racing cars. We are the ones who race the cars.
Yeah. So all I can think is that whoever says that is just like visually they're really pretty girls with fun hair.
Well, is it magic? Is it magical girls? Like, is there magic? Okay, but there's holograms, which is close.
There's holograms, so that's kind of like the two hologram mascots are kind of have like a Sailor Moon kind of Sailor Scout vibe to them. So I can kind of get where if all you watched was like the first 5 minutes or something when these mascots were doing their thing, you'd be like, oh, it's like Sailor Moon. Like yeah. If I had to give it a comparison, Gem and the Holograms feels much more like it's got more of that sort of normal life kind of vibe, but then also we're trying to be the best at a thing. So, it's cute.
Nice.
That's about it for me. How about you, Sky?
So, I'm going to talk about a movie that we did for our found family movie night, and I won't spoil anything, so don't be scared. I might say it wrong. Suzume? Is that how it was said? Suzume. It's an animated movie, Japanese, from 2022. It is now on Netflix, so at least for North America. It's about a 17-year-old girl who, what can I say? She starts seeing things. I don't know.
Yeah. She gets embroiled in a situation.
Way to really set this movie up.
A fantastical situation. There's a man
who needs directions to find a door. We can say that.
Yeah.
And then there's a worm and a cat.
There is a worm and a cat, and a chair is involved at some point.
And the chair is really cute.
The chair is very cute.
The cat is also very cute.
Yeah.
It was very good.
I really, really enjoyed it. I do. So, I'm not going to tell any details, but I will say, and this doesn't give anything away, but as far as a theme that kind of gets brought up is abandoned spaces, like places that used to be used by, you know, large groups of people, like say an abandoned school or an abandoned amusement park, and kind of the after effects of that type of thing. And so I was like, and do they really lean heavily on this stuff? They don't really go like super deep on that, but the way it was a theme throughout, like kind of the machinations of what was happening, I thought that was pretty cool. Something that you wouldn't expect in the type of show that we were watching. But I mean, yeah, kind of, but I thought that was a neat twist to it. And hey, you have a male lead with long hair, so that was important to know.
A real Hal Pendragon vibe to him. If you know, if that's
and road trippy vibe, and not trippy, road trip vibes. Like it was very the friends we made along
like
the
adventures.
way. Yeah.
I like the animation on the chair has very Brave Little Toaster vibes.
It does. It's so good.
Yeah.
The chair is alive. We're not going to tell you why the chair is alive. You will discover that through watching it yourself.
But I mean, one thing I probably show that in the previews. Whatever.
Yeah, I think they probably
one thing I didn't know is that it's a 3-legged chair, so that made it even cuter.
Yeah, it like listen, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
But I like, it's gonna be one that I rewatch and stuff. Like I really did enjoy it. And I did like the friends we made along the way, and it wasn't just like, oh, same age friends. We did have one of those, but then we had like made some older friends, and then we had to even take care of twins at one point, which that looked absolutely dreadful.
Also kind of like confronting your past, you know, like the trauma,
trying to heal from that.
Like yeah.
And beautiful animation, beautiful art, like background art with a lot of stars and sky and fields and greenery, overgrown places.
It's very
so
nice.
Like gorgeous stuff. It's really all we can say, but like highly recommended. Again, I'll be rewatching it. Easy. In fact, once you've watched it a time, and I will say supernatural elements. So like that is a thing. There are supernatural elements. But like I think if it's one of those, like if you watch it a time or two, like it would be even a good background, just pretty music, rad whips.
Yeah, it's rad whips. OST.
It's just all very gorgeous. So highly recommended. It looks like it's a lot of places, but as far as it is now on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
Yeah.
So how about you, Jessie?
Okay. So I'm not going to go over the Dean shows that I watched because
just watch our last episode.
Just watch the last episode. All right, I gave you Tantei No Tantei. Okay. So Sugar Sugar Honey is a little J drama that I watched on Viki. They had it airing, so I religiously every week showed up for my 23 minutes of this drama.
Me too, girl. We did it together again. Yeah.
So you could get your little wafer of Sugar Sugar Honey, like religiously.
Yeah. Little Susan, you know.
It was good. It was sweet. Yeah. It's very short, so like you can just eat it up very quickly. I forgot that I watched my Yokai Girlfriend, which is on Amazon Prime. I enjoyed that as well. It is a lot of fun. It's about a very dorky boy who gets a yokai girlfriend. Not like, you know, he doesn't look for her. She kind of just comes to him and then gets like entangled in like her trying to, you know, fight and kill off a bunch of things. It's really cute. I like enjoyed it. I think if you have teens, this is a good drama as well.
Oh, nice.
But like he has like a fun like friend like group, and like you see like a lot with his family too. So it's really good, and it's on Amazon Prime, so you might as well watch that. I think I haven't been on a What We're Watching episode in a very long time, but I'm pretty sure I talked about Vampire Host once. I finished that. My 2004 very wacky, very silly, very silly.
This sounds familiar to me.
Yes.
Show about a vampire host, like, you know, and a girl who gets entangled with them. It was as campy and as silly as you could expect.
Perfect.
I also watched, I'm going to talk about the one K-drama on my list because I don't have any other K-dramas on my list. Night Has Come, which is on Viki.
Right.
I think it was produced by Viki as well, or at least Viki backed it in some way. Essentially, it's a little horror drama about the game of oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the game? Mafia, but in real life. So essentially, this group of students are at this. They get taken to this like place for like a field trip, like an overnight type field trip, and then when that like it starts to get dark out, they realize that like none of the teachers or like like the guardians and everybody, they kind of just like disappeared. Like they were going to go do something, but they haven't found them, and like then everything gets locked down and like the game starts, and at first they all think that it's just like some like fun thing and like people are joking around and it's all fun and games until like someone's dead in front of you.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I thought it was good. It has like it has some messiness in its writing, and like there's some like things you're like, oh, it could have been tightened up, but like I think it is like a good like horror slasher for a younger audience. And I think that like using the Mafia game tie-in was like a fun thing to do, just because, especially if you like, maybe not a lot of people who are just strictly drama watchers know the game of Mafia, because it's not like a game that like is popular for me in the United States. I don't know about you, Sky. Yeah. Like it's not popular for us.
I've played it.
Yeah,
before.
I've played a version of it.
So it was never a game that was like popular in any place that I lived. So, but like it's very, very popular in K-pop. So if you watch K-pop idols, they're always playing Mafia. So I thought that was like, it's a good, if you want a horror like that's actually like does go pretty horror, like there is blood, there is death, like it's not just like implied or kind of like toned down. I think this is a good one to watch. I started and have gone up to like everything that I can watch because it's airing. The Japanese drama Destiny that's currently on Netflix. It's the new Ishihara Satomi drama. It's about a friend group that are all studying to become lawyers in college, and something big happens, and it kind of travels to the present day, where you're starting to see that incident like come up again. It's very tangled, messy, lots of things going on, lots of secrets. It also stars Kamanashi Kazuya, who, I mean, like a lot of people know because he's pretty popular. He's in it. Oh yeah, like also with Kame, I'm watching, kind of trying to watch. Listen, I'm desperate to watch this show, but it keeps crashing on me. So it's Yokai Naijin Bem, which is it's another really campy supernatural J drama. It's based on an anime from like the 60s, but essentially it's a group of yokai, and if you like, yokai are like, it's like kind of like the blanket term for like spirits or supernatural creatures. So they're a group of these supernatural creatures who just want to live life. They just want to be like, just
get along.
They just want to be in a house and have like stable food and not keep on getting kicked out by the locals. But that's not happening because they look like humans, but they also don't look like humans when they transform, and they transform into their claymation type like selves. It's so great, and that's why I'm so desperate to like find
Love it.
But like they like they want to help the humans, so they're always like helping the humans, even though the humans are like, you're monsters. And there's like a little boy in the group too. Like it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying my campy things. I started House of Ninjas that I'm really liking.
Yes. Highly recommended. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through, so it should be done soon. And that's really kind of it for me in terms of dramas. I was kind of watching a bunch of different things here and there when I could, which is not a lot of time.
Nice. Well, we come again to the end of another What We're Watching episode. We hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. We will be back next month, last episode of the month, with this again. We do this every month. Y'all can't get enough. But we will be back next week with another episode. So thank you for listening. If you want to listen to us to more stuff, we are wherever podcasts can be found. We are also on YouTube and video now. Fancy. And as always, all of our stuff can be found on our website, certifiednoonas.com, which links and time codes to everything. And if you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas to join the Certified Found family. They're our found family on the web. We love them. They're the best. We have a movie night with them every month. They get little mini episodes. We love them. They're the best, okay? Big shout outs to the found fam.
Mm-hmm.
You're A+. Okay? Woo. You're A+ in our books. Anyway, thank you for listening. We will be back next week. As always, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Bye.
Bye.